Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shadebeast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. Featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shadebeast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shadebeast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth. Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I am Mark Jackson and I am your host. The premise of the show is pretty simple. Awesome interviews and awesome music. If you want to contact me, hit me up at metalforgeradio@gmail.com or visit the website metalforgeradio.com. And now, let's get this show on the road. What is going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of The Metal Forge. Holy shit, the time is upon us. Wait a minute, what time is it? Hey, Chong, man! What time is it?
Hey, you should have been with me last night, man. You won't believe what happened. Hey, man, I was on a UFO. I really was, man. Hey, your cousin and I, man, he had a bag full of dope, man. We met all these chicks, went to a massage parlor, and we went on a spaceship. We're in a weed field, man. We got sucked up by the spaceship, man. And they give us some space coke, man. Look at this is space coke. You never tasted this before, man. Hey, try this, man. Try it and blow your head off.
Yeah, you know what it is. It's time for Space Coke, man. And Reno El Cheapo Gooch will be our guest today. Dude, such a rad guy. We got to sit down with him a couple of weeks ago and talk on the phone, and it was absolutely a blast. And I say we, meaning myself and Athena, you know, from Metal Mischief and Thrashers and Destroyers. That's right, the same. The mistress of the Metal Forge. And, like, this was completely a kick-ass conversation to have because it was fucking hilarious. At least it was to me and Athena and him. And hopefully you guys and everybody will get a kick out of it as well. But before we get into that, there are a few things I want to talk about first. One is the news that broke earlier in the week, you know, with Ozzy. And I've had a very, like, checkered fandom of Ozzy over my, you know, the last, like, 20 years, I would say. And the reason why I say that is because it always seems like it always seems like there's a scandal going on around Ozzy in some way. And it's either like the whole royalty debacle thing with like Bob Daisley and Lee Kerslake and shit like that, or it's him saying, it's his PR people saying that he's been sober for quite some time when it's not really a thing, that he really hasn't been sober for a lot. And, you know, his health issues aside, you know, I really feel bad for the guy because he has done this his entire life, you know, and now with his retirement coming in, it sucks because I had tickets back in 2020 to see him and Judas Priest on the, you know, the Judas Priest 50 Years of Metal tour and everything, and it was exciting because Ozzy was going to be there, and it was just fucking kicked ass. And then that, of course, got canceled, and then they put out new tour dates that got canceled because of his injuries and impending Parkinson's or something like that issue. And it just kind of, it doesn't kind of suck, it does suck, you know, because it is Ozzy and he does put on a good show. Despite the fact, if you like the latest albums or anything like that, which I'm not a huge fan of, but like Patient Number 9, I'm not a huge fan of. Anything, honestly, in the Millennium Era, I haven't been much of a fan of. I found, like, nuggets in each of them, but, like, as a whole, like, they're not it definitely doesn't beat, you know, the 80s and 90s albums for Ozzy, in my opinion. But, you know, best of luck and best of health to the Oz man, for fucking sure. And, yeah, totally, you know, hopefully he's able to enjoy a retirement and, you know, not go fucking crazy. Because that's how it goes, I guess. Nah, come on. Anyway, so, have y'all been paying attention to the website? Super fucking cool guests coming up for this month. You know, not only do we have Space Coke, we have Gatekeeper, we have Athena from Midnight, and we have Brian Tatler from fucking Diamond Head. Fucking Diamond Head. Are you serious? Fucking hell yeah. So I'm going to ask him, is he evil? And he better say he is. No, I'm fucking around. Seriously, though. But yeah, Brian Tatler from Diamond Head, that's like a grail piece there to talk to somebody to talk to, because, you know, I'm a Metallica fan. And I'm an unapologetic Metallica fan at that. And for a band that Metallica looks up to as much as I look up to as well, fucking right. Because this is like, holy shit, this is totally fucking cool to me. And when that happened, and I was just like, you know what? I saw. Well, here's the thing. Last weekend, Athena was working for Lloyd Kaufman in Atlanta for Days of the Dead, and she called me possibly inebriated, and she was just like, "Mark, I'm watching a Metallica cover band, and then we and Sean are gonna go see David Ellefson fucking thrash our faces off." And I'm laughing my ass off because it's like 11 o'clock on a Saturday night and she's calling me like trashed, and I'm like, yes, fucking right. And she lets me hear where they're fucking playing like some of Sanitarium, and she knows how I feel about tribute bands already, so yeah. So anyways, Sunday afternoon comes around and she texts me. She's like, "This just happened," and she sent me a picture of her and David Ellefson. So like this, here's how the story goes. Is I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna reach out and see what happens. If something happens, it happens. If not, what the fuck ever, right? So I reached out. And I was surprised because, like, in, like, no time flat, I got a reply back saying, "Hey, yeah, what about Friday? Can you make Friday work at such and such time, Pacific time?" And I was like, well, shit, I do work a day job. I guess I can leave early and make that happen because it's David fucking Ellefson, right? Yeah, so... long story short with this, if you saw my Facebook page, is I am recording an interview with David Ellefson, formerly of Megadeth, of Kings of Thrash and Dieth. And speaking of Dieth, I believe that's what Athena's reviewing this week. They released a single called In the Hall of the Hanging Serpents. So let's check in with Athena and see what she has to say about David Ellefson and Dieth.
Misfits and miscreants, bangers and mashers, deviants and the deviated, the tormented and the fermented, ghouls and goblins, creatures of the night. Jack those headphones, crank your volume to max, spark it up, and just relax. It's time for your deadly dose. Welcome to the next installment of Metal Mischief. And on today's lineup, I'm doing something I typically don't do. I'm actually reviewing a single. Typically, I like to do either compilations, splits, full albums, EPs, whatever, but I have yet to actually review a single song by a band. But this band is particularly special because of one of my idols that are in the band. So when I met him this past weekend in Atlanta, it gave me the bright idea to do a review of their new single that literally just came out a couple weeks ago by Dieth. That's right, Dieth. And their single is called Hall of the Hanging Serpents. Now, I'm not going to give away who's in the band right away because I want to bring up that anticipation with you guys. But I will say that it is three powerhouses that, I mean, if you could just imagine them doing a side project, it would sound something like Dieth. And I tell you what, I'm extremely happy that these guys are still putting out some music and that they got together and they're doing this fucking thing because it's really good. And that's what's playing in the background, and I have it on repeat. So if you stick in there with me, you'll get to hear it a couple of times. Alright, so when you have three major powerhouses like this that collide, the outcome is definitely something brutal and sinister. I mean, here we go. Here's your hints. If you can imagine Megadeth, Entombed AD, and Decapitated all got together for a jam session, you might just end up with a brain bruiser called Dieth. Fuck yeah. So, this is from the iconic brain and legendary bassist David Ellefson. And vocalist, and, you know, I always apologize ahead of time because, you know, I try not to butcher everybody's name, but I'm terrible at it, so I apologize ahead of time if I fuck it up. So, but I think it's Guillaume Miranda from Entombed AD who does vocals and, you know, shreds on the guitar. So, I apologize if I fucked that up, but the next one's even a little bit harder. And it's our skin shredder on drums, Mikhail Lasisco from Decapitated. I mean, you get this gut-wrenching delight that is, well, Hall of the Hanging Serpents. And I'm really excited because, like I said before, if this is what there is to come from these guys and they're gonna produce some more amazing shit like this, then I'm definitely invested. I am definitely looking forward to what else they do. So, I mean, the song starts with like a muted build-up and, you know, it helps build the anticipation and everything. And then it explodes with those like golden gravel vocals and raging riffs from Miranda at the beginning. And then perfectly punctuated by Ellefson with the brutally bloody bass and carried on the scorching skins of Lasisco. Anyway, it's beautiful. Like, it gives you that little build up at the beginning and then it just explodes and these guys, you know, just woof, right off the bat. So, with a heavy nod to the aforementioned bands, their past endeavors, you can definitely hear each one's like infused like sound, you know, and it's masterfully done, I have to say. For a three-piece, it's fucking amazing, and I wouldn't expect any less from these guys. So the production and mastering is very clean, but it's not like overproduced or like squeaky clean. You know what I mean? We don't want our metal squeaky clean. We want it rough around the edges, and we want it a little dirty and a little like, you know, edgy and shit. Of course we do. Who wants clean metal? If it was clean, I mean, it was too clean, it just, you know, I lose interest, I get bored. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I feel about it. So, it's not overproduced, it's not too squeaky clean, and I really like that. So, the vocals are clear, and you can really, like, enjoy Miranda's depth when it comes to his vocals. Even though, like, the production, you know, like I just said, it's not too squeaky clean, so he still has, like, those awesome guttural vocals, but you can understand him clearer. So, it's good. It's good. I really like it. And then Ellefson, you know, brings with him, like, that more classic element, but it works fucking beautifully. You know, his style definitely meshes with these two 100%. I totally think so. But I would like to know what everybody else thinks, too. The drums are layered perfectly. I mean, it's crisp as fuck. There are moments that I do get, like, tinges of, like, Sepultura in there. I don't know, it's, like, a little bit like Roots, like, that era of, like, Max Cavalera and Igor and stuff. But it's, like, a very small part of what I hear when I listen to this. But, I think that's cool. So, where was I? Oh yeah, I know where I was. Take a sip of this real quick. Oh, old Forester. You never let me down, buddy. Alright, so I mentioned that I got to meet David Ellison and talk to him last weekend when I was in Atlanta. That was super exciting. Meeting an idol of mine and an icon in the metal industry. He was literally part of one of the bands that catapulted me into my love for metal and into, like, this fucking seat where I'm sitting right now, you know? I mean, Megadeth was, like, this huge fucking thing for me back in the day. And getting to meet him and talk to him was so fucking cool. But on top of that, he was really excited talking about this project in particular. So that got me hyped about it, because if David Ellison is stoked about something, then, you know, I'm pretty sure I should be fucking stoked about it too. So, here we are, talking about their new single. And you better believe that when the full album comes out, I'm reviewing the whole motherfucker. So, stay tuned for that. That's to come later, obviously. So, anyway, I had to do this, so here we are. Diving in, horns first. Horns first, as we should, always, into our music. There is a video on YouTube, actually, that's pretty fucking dope. It's cool because the entire thing was actually filmed in Poland. And actually, the band was, like, formed in Poland as well. And, which is interesting for me because, you know, how did that happen? Where was David Ellison when they decided they were going to do this? Was he just hanging out in Poland? Like, you know, I bet he was. But anyway, you know, that's where my brain starts to go with this stuff. I didn't ask him those questions when I was talking to him. I felt like my time was very limited. I had to get back to the table anyway, so, because I was there with Lloyd Kaufman, so, you know, priorities. Anyway, enough about that. So, this song was recorded in Poland, the video was made in Poland, the band was formed in Poland, so here we go. We are stepping outside of Poland, and you can find it, right now, the single and the video, obviously YouTube. You can also find it Spotify and Bandcamp and Apple Music right now, if you want to check it out, which, you know, I'm really highly suggesting you go check it out. Also, Mark, Metal Forge, and I, Metal Mischief, will actually be interviewing Ellison tomorrow. So I get to talk to him twice in 1 week. Yeah. This fucking girl's dreams are just coming true left and right. Let me tell ya. So, anyway, you're gonna have to stay tuned for that because, you know, we're so backlogged. We've had so many awesome interviews. We got Space Coke coming up, which is released tomorrow. And then we've got, oh my gosh, what else? I'm already, Midnight, we talked to Athena, and we're gonna be talking to Midnight, so make sure you tune in for that one too. There's just so many, I can't even think of all of them right now, but anyway, that's why you just gotta stay tuned to the Metal Forge, because Mark and I've been teaming up more often with him and co-hosting some of these interviews, and I gotta say, it's super fun, and I'm really, really appreciative that Mark brings me on and lets me pick the brains and sit in on these and like co-host these interviews with these really amazing musicians who have all had like huge influences on me in my life. For the most part, a lot of my fucking dreams are coming true lately, and I don't want to jinx myself, but right now the metal community is stronger than ever, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it really hard. So, anyway, he was super cool, so I'm really looking forward to our interview tomorrow with him. But stay tuned. That's actually coming out, let's see, the first week of March. So, pay attention for that one. Alright. So, in other announcements, right here in Louisville, Artwork for the Blinds, Saul Williams has actually been putting together and hosting a killer 2-day show in Germantown at the 21st Amendment, and it's called Fists of Riffs. Fists of Riffs! So you can only imagine how fucking, like, awesome this is gonna be, right? Super fun, super good times, lots of fucking riffs, lots of cool motherfuckers hanging out. So if you're in the Louisville area or feel like joining us, it's going to be on May 12th and 13th, and there are so many bands listed, and I'm not going to give you the list of the bands until it's like all official, which he said like that's coming. So when that happens, I will keep you guys posted and updated on that. But for now, look out for Fists of Riffs, okay, on the 12th and 13th of May. Also, Overload and the Metal Forge has several shows coming up. March 25th at 8th Art Sanctuary. Of course, there's always the Metal Mondays and shit. Oh yeah, and Overload's playing with Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat. That is May 29th, I believe. And then we've got like a slew of other fun shit coming in. We've got Alice Cooper, Wraith, Ricky Ratman is going to be here, Kerr, She, Crop, Obituary, Cadaverous, One Body, 6 Graves. Artwork for the Blind, Guillotine AD, DRI is fucking gonna come here, and I'm gonna try to get some video footage of me talking to those guys, so, you know, fingers crossed on that. Oh yeah, and then you got Hell in the Harbor and Maryland Death Fest, all being held up in Baltimore, which, goddamn, I really wish I was going to that, but, if everybody wants to send me some money, I can go, but otherwise I'm fucking broke. Full Terror Assault, of course, and there'll be more about that, because that's later in the year. That's in Cave-In Rock, Illinois, and that's a festival I never ever miss. Carcass, Municipal Waste, Creeping Death. Oh my god, did I already say Obituary? There's so many. Anyway, we've got amazing metal shows coming up, so just keep your peepers peeped. Keep looking for that good metal, and you know, I will try to keep you updated as we go. Let me see, there's, alright, so, I want to do an honorable mention here real quick, okay? So, there's a lot of people who support the metal community, and that is very, very appreciated by all of us who work very hard to bring you the metal and, you know, promote these amazing musicians and be part of something that's way bigger than us. So, you know, I have to say that I'm trying to do that through another venue of mine called Thrashers and Destroyers, and it's like a video-based entertainment for metalheads, basically. Imagine, like, you know, if Headbangers Ball meshed with Beavis and Butthead, Wayne's World, Saturday Night Live, and Jackass. That's what I'm trying to do with Thrashers and Destroyers. So, you know, if you look below on the screen here, there's links. There's going to be links to, like, my YouTube and stuff like that. And I really appreciate the follows and the love. And I'm just trying to really help support the bands and stuff. And you guys can help me do that by tuning in and subscribing and being part of this new movement in metal. I want to try to bring back the Headbangers Ball era. You know, you know, Ricky Ratman's coming to Louisville, and I'm so fucking excited because he's another hero and idol of mine, and I just, you know, if I could just pick his brain for just a little bit, you know, I would love his input on, you know, everything metal, because, you know, you got the Cat House and Headbangers Ball and everything, of course, so, you know, he's just super exciting, and I really hope that happens. But anyway, Thrashers and Destroyers, please check me out. Please check me out. And that, I'm mixing all of these things. So Metal Mischief, the Metal Forge, Better Days Records, Metal Selection, Thrashers and Destroyers, meet and greets. I mean, there's going to be so much exciting shit coming out in 2023, and I really hope you guys are here for the ride and want to be part of it with me. So, please stay tuned. And I know I talk a lot, and I appreciate everybody who sticks with me so very much. But And with that, I also want to say that I got to mention my Thrashers and Destroyers sponsors who've got my back and who always are a big support for me. The Metal Forge, Metal Monday at the Highlands Tap Room, Electric Ladyland, the oldest head shop here in Louisville, Caulfield's Novelty, the oldest novelty shop here in Louisville, Ageless Art and Phil Garrett across the bridge in Indiana, Better Days Records, of course, and Ben Jones, who's like a huge proprietor for everything music and everybody influenced by music. Peril Hot Sauce out of Lexington, which that's a new sponsor, and thank you so much to Peril for like being part of, you know, metal, and you should really check them out if you like hot sauce. They have metal themed hot sauces, and several bands from Louisville and Lexington have all had stuff to do with it, like Stormtoper and Ohm and Bat Wizard and all these fucking amazing bands that, you know, and there's more, and like artists here from Louisville like Ryan Case and stuff have done labels for him and shit, so it's super exciting. So check out Peril Hot Sauce. And then Bonehead's Weekly podcast, thank you always for your support. The Outcast Metal Zine and Michael Coles, check out his photography, check out his metal, because he's also like one of us big supporters of the scene. Film Enigma, because, you know, we love horror movies, because we all just fucking love horror movies. So to Film Enigma, thank you very, very much. And then Killers, the Game, and Jeff Iganowski, and I probably said your name wrong and I'm very sorry, but to Jeff and to all of those sponsors I just mentioned, thank you very, very fucking much. Without you guys, my dream of, you know, bringing metal to the people would just be like this tiny inkling of a drop of pee or whatever in a bucket. I don't even know. Anyway, I'm getting off the rails now, and that's what happens sometimes. Speaking of Better Days Records, though, if you are in a band, and you have some physical media for me, I want to carry it in the record store, okay? Please, get a hold of me. I want to stock your vinyl. I want to stock your CDs. If you have videos, DVDs, anything, any kind of media that you have, cassettes, we carry all that shit, all of it. Your t-shirts, merchandise, buttons, patches, all that shit. Bring it to me. Contact me. Mail it to me. Whatever. I want to stock it at Better Days Records, and I want to build this metal selection to be one of the fucking best in our area. I mean, it already kind of is, but it's just going to be even better. Because, man, we're going to have all you motherfuckers out there who nobody has a chance to find because, you know, so there's so much shit going on. So help me narrow it down. Help me help you. Okay? Please, just contact me. Send me shit. You will find links and stuff for my email, or you can send me music that I will use in Thrashers and Destroyers. You can send me videos that I will use in Thrashers and Destroyers. You can send me shit that I can put in the store so everybody on the street can listen to you and find you. Please contact me. Alright, so that was all I'm going to go into with that. It's this time, dear Metal Misfits, that we are going to do Athena's 5-shot review. So, you know, again, being that this is a single, I'm really looking forward to reviewing the entire album when it comes out. But for right now, my 5-shot review for Hall of the Hanging Serpents. Shitty drum roll. Oh, wait. Where's my head? I'm sorry. I have to give you the rules. Okay. So, 5 shots means I needed 5 shots to get through the motherfucker. I mean, I must have been really bored and totally not into it if I had to drink that much. 4 shots. Meh. Could've used some oomph. 3 shots. Make sure I was doing that right. 3 shots. Good. Made me air drum and bang my head. 2 shots. Really good. put that shit in the glove box for traveling. And one shot. Excellent. I'll probably have a bangover in the morning. So, shitty drum roll, please. I'm gonna go with Dieth single Hall of the Hanging Serpents. One shot! Excellent! I've listened to this song so many times. I definitely had a bangover in the morning. So, until we meet again, have a most excellent time. And remember, keep it heavy. Cut, that's a wrap!
You know what? For my money, this song, it really kicks ass because it is not the same old rehashed thrash that's out there, in my opinion. You know, because anybody can do anything that they want to do because it's what they're into or whatever. You know, the technical ability, yeah, you might have to learn some things, but you know, this isn't just Dave getting together with three other guys and saying, hey, you know, let's hash this out and let's do this. No, this is something that's completely different. It's completely new. It's heavier than anything I think he's ever actually done that I'm aware of. And, you know, what's really fucking cool is we're going to be talking to him here shortly about that. So, fuck yeah. I'm going to have to go. I'm going to give the Athena deal here, and I'm going to say this is a 2-shot for me. Put that shit in the glove box for traveling. Hell yes. Absolutely. So, let's go ahead and listen to some Space Coke here. We're going to start off with the first track on the Lunacy EP. This is Bride of Satan. Maniacs. It is yet another awesome interview week. I am being joined on the line by not by one, but by two awesome motherfuckers today, and one of which, you know, is Athena from Metal Mischief. Say hello.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah, on the line. This is weird because it's normally an in-person thing, but it's cool regardless. And the other person here today is Reno El Cheapo Gooch from the band Space Coke. Reno, how you doing?
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here.
Hell yeah. How is South Carolina?
I'm actually, in 2020, I moved to Savannah, so now I'm in the home of sludge, Savannah, Georgia.
Ooh, the swamp metal capital of the world?
That's right.
That's so...
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay, well then how is the swamp metal capital of the world treating you?
It's great. You know, I think we're, you know, we obviously is a city of Palessa, Baroness, Black Tusk, and Damad, but in the pandemic, everything shut down, and we lost, you know, our main music club, the Jinx, which is pretty much the home to all that. Like, those bands even practice to record their classic albums in the basement of that club. But the pandemic sent that away, so there's kind of a new uprising of young bands happening here, and I'm happy to be in the mix for that.
Right on. So you're sort of you're the transplant that is now the elder statesman to a degree.
Sort of like that, yeah. An interesting fact about Space Coke is our bass player, Jay Matheson, actually recorded all of those bands' first albums at his studio, the Jam Room in Columbia, South Carolina.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
And that place is legendary.
It's absolutely legendary, yes.
I think when I was talking with Scary from Black Tusk last year, he was talking about how the studio life and everything down there was just so dynamic with so many awesome people coming through that just, you know, it's almost like a Sound City in a way where you have so many awesome groups come through just because of the reputation of the place.
Right, absolutely, yeah, and you know, obviously he's got his own studio now that's a pretty cool spot.
Hell yeah! So tell everybody out in Metal Forge Land about Space Coke.
Space Coke is basically a band. It's a funny thing. The band is at its core really is me doing. You know, it's my songwriting, my project. And me and Jay are kind of the heart of it. We have the main other players, but have cycled around a lot, especially with drummers, as you know, everybody knows about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It actually started out. I answered an ad on Craigslist around 2009, and I was just trying to find somebody to jam with because I couldn't get a band together at the time. And my friend, you know, Red, he put out this ad saying he wanted to jam on some like Jesus Lizard type stuff. So we got together, and it only took a few practices before I said Space Coke, and then it turned into something completely different, like on the spot. And it's been like that ever since. But you know, just nasty, sludgy, psychedelic occult rock.
So it didn't really start like psychedelic sludge, like stoner doom psychedelic sludge. It started something different.
Well, I mean, we were just jamming to like weird, you know, shellac style kind of music at first, but as soon as it came out the name Space Coke, so it's a weird influence to have musically, but if you watch Cheech and Chong's next movie.
Yes, we were talking about that.
Yeah, you know, which is where the name comes from. But Chong in that movie is dressed up in this outfit, and he's driving the neighbors crazy, and revs his motorcycle in the living room and plays the guitar and destroys and that really is the actual influence for the sound. So,
I love
That's
it.
fucking fantastic. We were, man. We were joking about that. That's fucking great.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you watch that movie and just watch the scene where he's in the house with his horns and fur and leather on playing a guitar, that's what Space Ghost comes from. So.
That's awesome.
And my original idea was to actually, like, make that same suit and wear it when we play. And that's where some of, I didn't really get all the way there, but you could see it if you look, like that's what the influence was.
Definitely. Yeah, there is definitely on the Metal Archives, the band live shot that they've got on there. I definitely feel the Chong vibes from it, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all Chong, yeah.
And, that is actually one of my, like, favorite Cheech and Chong films is Next Movie, where it's just everything is just so ludicrous in it, and then you said, he's revving the motorcycle, but he's got the exhaust vented out into the neighbor's roses, and he's just like this hoity-toity shithead.
I mean, people always say, describe the band. I say, well, get on YouTube and search for Cheech and Chong Space Coke, and it'll give you that about 1 minute scene where, Chong gets back from space and he's got the vial of Space Coke, and then they blast off. And that really, that pretty much sums it up.
Right. That's fucking awesome.
Definitely. And, that was one of the things that Athena and I, when we had discovered you, when she's like, man, you got to listen to this album with Lunacy, and we were talking like, well, it's like the Next Movie scene, but it's also like heavy metal in the Alien scene where they're doing the Nyborg, man.
Right, yeah.
Space Coast, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, it's with Lunacy, I really was trying to get a little stranger and get a little deeper into the occult side of it. And the pandemic made that album sound a little different because the way we had to get together and all that stuff was different. So, I don't know, that you can tell the album sounds a little different than the other ones.
Oh, absolutely. I like it because it's actually, from what I hear when I listen to it, it's definitely a little more psychedelic, which I like. Your couple of first albums, I mean, I really liked The Pale Divide, The Call of the Void. That was really fantastic too. And that one's pretty psychedelic and stuff, but I feel like you really amped that up on Lunacy. Like it's more psychedelic because you guys used to sound a little more stoner doom metalish to me. Like
well, that's I was trying to slow it down, and it's the people you play with will kind of push your sound in a direction, and I think on Lunacy it was more written by me at home alone with during lockdown. So I wasn't a lot of times if I play with a drummer, they'll punk it up a little or play a little faster. I really like I'm obviously a huge fan of just the classic sounds of like Black Flag, My War Side 2 and Volume 4 by Sabbath. So that's what I've always wanted to have, that kind of muted, nasty guitar sound.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, I think it works very well for sure in this album. I really, as you know, this album literally made like my top 5, and
thank you so much.
1 out of my top 5 for the year. So I was really fucking excited when Mark said that he was getting an interview with you, and I was like,
absolutely.
That's so rad. So
he said you
like with Frozen World, like, so that one. Is that kind of about the pandemic, since you wrote that during the pandemic? Because Frozen World's my favorite track on there. And, like, is that...
that there's actually, if you like that one, there's a different version I did for... And now I can't remember. I did it for a compilation that was coming out of California somewhere. But we recorded a different version originally, and I just wanted to re-record it because the first version was kind of rushed. So it actually is something we came up with before the pandemic.
Oh.
But the whole idea for that song was that it was another ice age, and the whole world was, everything was covered in ice and frozen, and the heat from guitar stacks melts the ice, and the vibrations reawaken the world. So that's the theme.
I love it.
Yeah. And so it was just, an idea. It was basically like a fever dream kind of idea.
Okay. All right.
But you're right though. I hadn't actually even thought it does kind of fit, with being locked down and then re-emerging from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because our first show after lockdown was just nuts. People were just dying for a crazy show, and the vibe was so great.
Yeah, our shows here just flooded with people. Any metal show that came to Louisville, everybody showed up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the people hadn't even left the house, much less, got tore up for Space Cook,
Right.
Our shows, I try to keep the shows really intense and weird.
Right, and that's
For instance, one of my favorite shows, we were playing a show, and this guy, the band right before us, this guy walked around the audience with this huge jar of mushrooms, and he just gave them to everybody. And that show was like the weirdest show we've ever played. Which is, it kind of puts the audience in the same mindset I'm in sober. So.
That's funny because I know stories of Hawkwind where they would have refreshments at their shows and they would spike it with LSD.
Right. Yeah.
And then they would lock the doors on them, and so nobody could get out.
Which honestly, reminds me of the Cheech and Chong scene where they play the rock fest and the weed is coming through the air vents and everybody is all like psyched on the show.
Oh, yeah.
And up in smoke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the van catches on fire.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Which revives.
And the cop Stacy Keach, that turns into a lizard in that movie is actually from Savannah.
Oh no shit!
Oh really? Sergeant Lardass?
Yeah.
Sergeant Lardass?
Yeah. Sergeant Cinco, a.k.a. Lardass.
No, who is this is?
Yeah.
Hey, Lardass.
Yeah, that's classic.
This episode's gonna be so ripe with like sound effects this time. I'm gonna add in so many sound effects. It's gonna be great.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So with Lunacy being a 4-year break between Lapel Divide and Lunacy, 2018 to 2022. Other than the just the pandemic thing, did you have anything else that you were doing in that amount of time? Were y'all just playing shows? Did you write and scrap a bunch of stuff?
Well, there was the St. Valentine's Massacre EP.
Oh yeah, that was great. I'm a huge fan of Heavy Temple, who we played a bunch of shows with, and I really ever since high school wanted to record basically a cover of Motorhead's cover of that Johnny Kidd or whatever, the Pirates song.
Mm-hmm.
But they did it with Girls School, so I talked Nighthawk from Heavy Temple into doing a duet with me, which was just one of the greatest things. I love that song more than almost anything I've ever recorded.
Hell yeah.
And also, it's just, I don't know, I really want to put that one out on a 7-inch, just like the original.
Oh, fuck yeah, man, you should. That would be awesome.
Hell yeah.
I just did it for fun, I was like, oh shit, we'll just record that whole EP with a couple of our friends,
That whole EP is really fun, man.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And interestingly enough, the Metal Archives does not have that listed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta fix that.
Yep, I'll have to break out my editing page on there and get them lined out.
Right.
I found it on Bandcamp though.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's on our Bandcamp. I didn't put it anywhere else. That one, everything else is everywhere else, but I just try to keep that a little special.
Oh, hell yeah. And live, see, that's not on there either. Live at Columbia Beat at W.
Oh, right, yeah. That was actually, that was just supposed to be, a little interview and thing. It was actually on my birthday, and we played a show after that. Like, we played on the radio and then went set up and played a show. That's really fun. That gives you much more of an idea what our shows were like.
Right on.
And now, the music's a little heavier, a little doomier, but it's still the same type of vibe.
Absolutely. So what's coming up next?
So, I have a show next month. We're opening a Aura Fest here in Savannah. It's a 2-day thing, and it's got, we're playing the first night in front of Weed Eater, which is going to be great.
Fuck yeah.
And basically, I'm trying to work up a little special set for that. And I kind of plan out, every show for the show if I have time. But then after that, I'm going to record, I think, a 3-song EP, maybe a 4-song as a cover. And that was been my plan, because I really wanted to do something a little more intense, still staying on that dark occult theme of lunacy, but concentrate on a shorter release. So I'm probably going to have that finished, by summer.
Awesome.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
And
yeah, me too. I don't know. I have kind of what I really have always wanted to do is kind of a mix between Lapel de Vida and the Lunacy albums. So I think that now that I can actually, play with everybody, play some shows, I can get it done.
Definitely.
Hell yeah.
And the show you're talking about is Underground Weekend 2, right? At El Rocco Lounge.
That's right.
Which is Weed Eater, Bastardane, Rebelmatic, Space Coke, Witch Pit, Cloak. Looks like there's a few other bands that are on there as well. Hell yeah, that sounds awesome.
Cloak, I think, is from Atlanta. They're great. The Oakskin is Philip from Kyles's new band, and they're sick. So you definitely check them out. Oakskin is. I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, what was the name? Yeah.
Oakskin. They're on the Underground Festival.
Okay.
And then Rebelmatic from New York City, which is a great band. They're a little kind of more like hardcore punk, a little crossover-ish, but that's going to be a fun show.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be. That is killer. Such a good line.
With the kind of some of the old guard not really playing around here. Obviously Black Tusk is still going full on, but Weed Eater is kind of the band that keeps that vibe here when they come here.
Right.
Right.
And they're just ridiculous live too. They're nut jobs too and really loud.
Oh yeah. I got to see them play at a strip club here in Louisville, and we had a fucking blast.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 That's awesome.
The good old Tiger Room.
It's gone now, unfortunately.
Yeah. Shed a tear for that.
But yeah, anyway.
So it looks like... So do you all actually... I know Lunacy is a digital release. Was there actually physical copies of that as well?
Oh, yeah. It was... So Lunacy is on CD on Forbidden Place Records, which you can order a physical copy off of their website. It's just, I think, for forbiddenplacerecords.com. You had to search for it, and the little search, and I think they actually printed CDs of one of our EPs that I'd never printed before too. So both of those are up there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing their Bandcamp page actually. They've got a ton of stuff on there, and there it is.
Yeah, there's some really wild stuff on their roster. They put up a lot. So.
Absolutely. Now, are you planning to do any more actual vinyl releases or anything?
So I had originally planned Lunacy to be our first vinyl release, and we have two versions, even made. One that fits that format that's mastered differently, so it's all ready to go. But when we went to release it, I was going to release it only digital and vinyl, but the vinyl pressing was so backed up, it would have been the next year.
Right.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Just couldn't get it done. Yeah. So maybe next time, I still would like to do vinyl of it. Of course, everybody has been asking us for that since the beginning. So
right, because it's come back so heavy, So
yeah,
everybody.
And I make
vinyl.
I make CDs so I can have physical copies because they're easy to make. They don't cost much to make, and so people can have them. But a lot of we'll play it at a show. People say, "Well, I don't even have a CD player," so.
Right.
I still collect them. Yeah,
I do too, and that's.
Honestly, if you're an audio buff, obviously sonically, that's a killer way to listen to stuff because we have some pretty deep production in the albums that you're not going to hear it if you stream it on Bandcamp.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The quality doesn't transcend the little tiny phone speakers and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, whenever we sit down and mix a record, I always have in mind, an old school home stereo, like a big ass receiver and big ass floor speakers. I always use that. I listen on that to judge it because that's the most stoner way to listen to music, and you get that big bass.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so everything is all digital now with recording.
Yeah.
Have you ever wanted to do the going back to tape and stuff other than the inconvenience of tape? It always sounds cool. We have recorded on tape, but I can't remember what. Jam Room Studio has a huge Studer A800 16-track 2-inch tape machine. It's just insane, and it's basically that used to be the main way they recorded there. Now he'll only pull it out, for a special occasion. And financially, it's a lot easier for us just to use the Pro Tools and do it digital. Oh, for sure.
And it sounds killer. So you're not really losing anything, but there is a little mojo you can get from the tape that's cool.
Right, you get that little bit of drag, that little bit of
and honestly, all the coolness of it are the problems with it, which totally fits with our band.
For sure. For sure. And honestly, the real inconvenience of recording to tape is, splicing and editing that way.
Right.
So
yeah.
Nobody
if people record the tape nowadays, they'll record on tape and then bounce it down to a digital master so they don't have to do that.
Right.
Because nobody wants to cut tape.
No, and it's such a painstaking, expensive process that and honestly, from what I've dealt with other people, and me playing music personally as well, is once you're just recording it and bouncing it to digital, anyways, what's the point at that point?
Yeah, that's true. And honestly, you do get this kind of, you get something out of tracking the tape. And there's also, you can overload tape. You can't do that to digital. Yes. But now they have, you can plug in a tape effect on every channel digital now that pretty much mimics it.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, you have to really be dedicated to doing that to record that way, but it still is cool.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We got the nerd talk on Athena right now, so.
Yeah.
No, like I'm right there with you guys. I grew up with fucking cassette tapes, man. Like,
Right, yeah.
like, I remember cassette goals, you know, like you had like
Oh, yeah.
on each fucking side, and yeah, they were like three.
My jam was those flexi discs you'd get in a magazine, you know, the floppy record.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you get like
metal magazines. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
And those are still a
Decibel
thing.
still does that. Decibel still
Yeah.
does that. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, nice.
Yeah, actually, I believe, if I am not mistaken, the person who kickstarted the idea of them doing the flexi disc again was Jarvis of Night Demon.
Oh, wow.
Really?
All right.
He wanted one. And we're like, hey, do you all remember this? And granted, you know, they're only good for like a few listens before the stylus starts tearing the damn the plastic.
Right.
But if memory serves correct, he approached Decibel when they started getting traction and said, hey, what about starting doing these again? And they did. And now everybody has one. You know, I believe Midnight's had one through there. They've Night Demon have had one, you know, and so many other people, and they still do it on. I don't know if it's every issue, but I know it's at least. I think it's 3 or 4 times a year that they do.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I only have a few of those, but they're wild still.
Oh yeah. As a funny story, is my favorite one was actually. I think it was National Geographic had one that was just whale sounds, and that was my favorite. That was my favorite record for years.
That is awesome. I would totally put that in the background of something.
Yeah, I mean, I taught myself how to you know, I don't know how old I was when I had that, like, you know, 8 or 10 or something. But I taught myself how to make whale noises with my guitar, and I still do that live.
Nice. You know, I always... Go ahead.
No, I can do them pretty good. I'll put some on that next record just for you guys.
Fuck yeah. You know, I always thought it would be an interesting thing to be able to make a flexi disc at home. With, like, you know, making it on your like home printer with, you know, like a transparency sheet like you would used to, like the teachers used to use in school, because that's pretty much all it is.
Yeah.
And while I've not got a viable way of doing that yet, I'm gonna corner that market eventually, I think.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's probably, you know, that goes back to the beginning of record player when they had the, you know, you just vibrate a needle on metal and it cuts a little record.
Oh,
you could probably do it without too much trouble.
Oh, for sure. But, you know, that's the interesting thing.
What if we just put out metal records on metal? That would just be the ultimate metal.
See, there you go.
Yeah. You
exactly.
know, yeah, just don't.
I think that's a killer idea.
Yes, exactly.
Metal records.
You can have that, Reno. You can have that one.
They're going to be the worst sounding records ever put out.
They probably would. But, you know, that's
the sound of the fucking sludge, man.
Oh, for sure. And that's what you do. You just, instead of having your negative stamp plate, you just make it into the positive and let it go.
There you go.
You just sell the stamp plates for $75 a side. and then you break even.
Right, yeah, exactly. Or you know, you lose money like with everything else.
Oh, for sure.
Right,
yeah.
of course. Yeah.
Especially now, and you know, this has been something I've noticed with everything is just like even when it's, you know, 3 or 4 bands on a bill and it's like a $20 cover and it's like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah. Well, you know,
more like locally, you know, it's like our local shows used to be like $8-10 always, just $10 to get into the local shows, which that we host a lot of them around here. And now you're looking at more like $18, $20, $25 for like the local shows. And we were like, what the fuck is happening? Like, well, I get it. I mean, it is inflation and shit, but it's just crazy to see how it's affecting like our scene and everything.
Well, you know, every little thing is more expensive. You know, a guitar cable is more expensive. Like, guitar picks are more expensive. Strings are. So bands just get whittled at financially. And, you know, a lot of bands are just not touring anymore because they can't afford to lose money doing it.
Yeah, the overhead is
they have to
killer.
take time off work, you know, and a lot of bands that had made it already were touring just to break even, and now they're losing money.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think with...
And, you know, music doesn't get a lot of love, you know, like, I've always lived... Yeah, Savannah's pretty cool, but a lot of places I've lived, they don't have any respect for bands needing money to live on.
Right.
Yeah, Louisville is actually, I gotta say, man, Louisville's good for that. We support our music scene really heavily here, and make sure that the bands get taken care of and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely an awesome thing when, you know, you do have, you know, like a family, a metal family where you're at.
Yeah. No, and I feel that because, you know, like, we've had people be supportive, you know, say, tip buying T-shirts and stuff now, you know, where they used to be like, hey, can I get that for half price? You know, you know, just the fans that have real jobs.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
So I'm going to go ahead and switch gears here. We're going to ask you some general profile questions about you as a person, about Reno El Cheapo Gooch as a person.
Okay. All right.
Would you accept a fatal mission in exchange for your lifetime support of your family?
Oh, yeah. You mean a suicide mission?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
But, I mean, that's a quick one. I wouldn't
that was. It's like...
think twice about that.
Like, yes!
I don't know. I've always...
out of here.
I've always been, you know, along that line, as far as I'm thinking. Now, I've had to go through a lot of scary situations for my children and stuff, so I'm not in any way going to hold back.
Definitely. Athena, do you have a general question for Reno?
A general question? Well, I have more a prudent question than a general question. I gotta say, like, I love your slogan. If the amp don't smoke, it ain't space coke. Like,
yeah.
I just gotta say, like, I just gotta say, it's so awesome.
Well, that, you know, that is rooted in every time I play music, I break something. Like, I just don't use anything the correct way. And I really would, I would go through 2 guitars, 2 amps in a show, and I had to start buying like really cheap stuff just because I would break all of it. So the drummer Red, the original drummer, came up with that slogan, but also it ties into the, you know, the Chong theme.
Right.
And really thinking about, you know, his nostrils smoking when he plays guitar, his motorcycle killing the azaleas. It's all that.
Yes. Sorry. So, yeah, I didn't have a question, but thanks for explaining that. Cause,
yeah.
Definitely. This one might be a moot point here, but which actor or actress would you want to have play you in a movie?
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I'm not going to pick the obvious. Just because. So... play me in a movie. I got to think about that one. But obviously, Danny Trejo comes to mind.
Yes.
Because, I mean, pretty much you could just play Machete and that would be me. So I don't know. You know, that's going to be my answer. I'm going to go with that.
Danny Trejo?
Yeah.
Yes. Hell yeah. You know, I recently watched an interview snippet with him and how he got the tattoo of the woman on his chest.
Yeah.
It is insane. Like, he got it while he was in prison. The guy started it. Then he ended up getting Danny Trejo got transferred after a prison riot. And then the guy told him, he was like, "Don't let anybody touch your chest. I'll be there. I'll get transferred there too." And he got transferred there, and then he got transferred again. And it was like 4 or 5 sessions that this guy did where they kept getting transferred between prisons and in Southern California and stuff.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, that's that kind of backs up my last question, because that's a real space coke kind of dumbass thing to do.
Right.
It's a great story, but if you really think of it, it's like, what the hell is wrong with you?
It's like, what? And it's such a big fucking piece too. I like big tattoos, but god damn.
Well, it's crazy too, because for a prison tattoo to be real and that iconic is pretty wild.
Yes, exactly. Athena, do you have a question?
A question? No, man, I don't. Not really. I don't know.
You don't want. Okay.
I'm really stoned, Mark. I'm just sitting here like chilling and talking to dude. Like.
All right. So, how about Athena? Is that your real name?
That is my real name. Yeah.
Is there a story behind that?
Everybody wants to say it's like the glorious, like, oh, you're named after this fucking goddess. But my dad honestly saw it on a billboard for some cheese.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
I'm kind of named after cheese. Like, my dad's like, oh, that's a pretty name. But he saw it on a cheese.
All right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, that's great. It's Greek cheese.
That kind of explains my life too, Reno, for real. Like.
That's great. Yeah.
The funny thing is, the funny thing to me is at this moment is I knew that story. And yet I still asked her today. I was like, "You like bougie cheese, right?" And I sent her a picture of this fucking like.
Oh, that was today. Yeah.
This bougie fucking like Gloucester and onion cheese, and I was like, "This is great shit. You should try it."
I love how my day has come full circle right
yes.
now. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Stone talking about cheese on a podcast.
It's all about cheese.
It really is.
I honestly.
Well, speaking of you're just asking that, Reno, that was going to be the next general question: does your name have any special or significant meaning? If so, what is it?
Which one? Which part of my name?
Go with all of it.
All right. Well, Reno comes from when I was in like junior high. Me and my friends would pick up this homeless guy from behind an old juke joint because he would buy us beer as long as we gave him a couple, and he would always call me, the Puerto Rican. So, which I'm not Puerto Rican, I'm Venezuelan, but he didn't know the difference. So everybody started calling me that, and that stuck. El Cheapo was the name my friends gave me because I had what they called a superpower of being able to walk into a bar with a quarter and leave wasted. And they'd always get mad. They'd say you could literally just have no money and go anywhere. Like they would used to play a game where they just like pick a bar and say go in there, and then like 4 hours later I'd be partying with some strangers, and that was it. That's where El Cheapo comes from.
Yes.
And then my last name Gooch. That's just my name.
Okay, right on. Yeah, for sure. You know, I pull these cards out of a deck, and I shit you not, I should probably, like, play the lottery. Because the next card I drew is so serendipitous. It's...
So, what are these? What kind of cards? Like tarot cards? Is this a reading?
No, not a reading. It's an interview deck of cards. I'm not sponsored by the brand, so I'm not going to say their name.
I got you. Okay.
But the question is, would you travel to space if possible?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God, that's so fucking serendipitous.
But I mean, the way if you say listen to that, live on the radio in our band camp, I talked about it in there. Some of the idea of Space Coke was that we had to deal with so much bullshit here that's made up that other people put on us, that all you have to do is get a few miles into space and you're out of it. So that ties into Cheech and Chong flying into space. It's a whole thing.
It definitely is. Have you ever had a roommate? And if so, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody has at some point. What did you hate about it?
Just that's it. Just if I had a roommate, what did I hate about it?
Yeah. What did you hate about having a roommate?
All right, I'm gonna flip that a little and tell you why my roommate hated me.
Yes.
Because it took a lot to wake me up every day. A long time ago, when I had a college age roommate, and so I bought this. I actually went into a store and asked for the loudest alarm that would play the radio I could get. And back then you couldn't pick the music; it would just turn on the radio.
Right.
So we had a small room, and our beds were on the two walls. So my head was next to the foot of his bed, and my alarm was in between that. And every morning that thing would go off, and it was so loud, I would jump up like I got shot and start smacking the alarm and try to get it off. And I didn't know, in about 6 months of living with him, he told me that actually every morning that the alarm would go off for about 15 minutes before I jumped up as if it just went off. And he said that, he had to listen to whatever radio station I'd take at full blast on a broken speaker. And he'd just sit there and take it, because he said at first he'd try to wake me up and I wouldn't wake up.
Damn.
Yeah.
I have a similar with that. And mine is I used to listen to the radio or a CD or something when I used to go to bed, right? So the radio would not wake me up in the morning. So I would set the radio to the most awful fucking between station noise you could get. Like
the staticky bullshit in between?
Yes. I would set it to fucking between the pop station and the country station static, so you get crossover from both of the fucking garbage. And everyone who has ever lived with me during that time period has fucking hated it. So
yeah. And now here you are on the radio.
Yes, here I am, causing people traumatic stress from
fucking sleep disorder.
Yeah, you've become so successful that somewhere there's a Jehovah's Witness and has the radio turned to you to wake up.
Yes, making this awful, god awful noise. What is this redneck talking about?
Oh man, yeah, that's great. That's full circle.
Satan worshippers, all of them.
I did have one time. I remember where I woke up hungover and one of those kind of, I don't know what day it is moods, and I had the clock radio was playing, but that particular day it turned on talk radio. And I had one of those moments where it's almost like being on acid, where it's like I thought somebody was there talking to me, and I was talking back, you know. And I think it was like a really long time before my brain like adjusted and was like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
He's having a discussion with the weatherman.
Yeah, it's like it's gonna be what today?
And of course, one of mine and Athena's favorite things is, I'm the hippy dippy weatherman with all the hippy dippy weather, man. Tonight's forecast, dark.
Followed by longer periods of darkness.
I tell you, have you? If you're a David Lynch fan, he does a morning weather alert every morning on YouTube.
Are you shitting
What?
me?
Yeah, it's worth checking out.
Please.
And it's a lot of, it's mostly not like it'll be just deadpan the weather.
But
it's really amazing.
But it's David Lynch.
But it's David Lynch doing it.
Yeah,
that's great.
Which makes it amazing.
Right.
I wish I want to watch it for one. For two,
I'm doing that tomorrow morning.
hell yeah. I really want to see him as his character in Twin Peaks, where he's with the hearing aids, where he's like, I'm worried about the coop.
That's what I was just picturing too.
Yeah.
It's gonna
that's
today.
I'm like that. That's me because of. But yeah, my wife we watch Twin Peaks is always like, that's you, because I can understand her and nobody else,
Oh my gosh. Athena, do you have any questions?
No, man, I'm good.
She doesn't have the card there.
Nah, man.
I'm just hanging out, yeah.
You just should be cheating. You should be cheating and just Googling like what to ask Space Coat.
Yes.
Man, no, like, you haven't really met me, but Mark knows, like, I do the Metal Mischiefs when I do my album reviews. I go very in-depth. Like, I do lots of research on the band and everything.
Yeah.
And I won't lie, I've been stalking your band for, like, the last
well, there's a ton. I've done a ton of interviews because people like to do interviews with me. I generally try not to say the same stuff.
No.
Just because, there's a lot of bands, even famous people, you read it, and it's like, God, I've read that 100 times,
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, that's, that right there is exactly the mythos of the Metal Forge. It's all this. It's all this laughing, it's having a good time. It's, getting in depth and not being serious and being, it's all of that. It's not like,
well, you have to be not serious to get past the normal questions,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with that 100%.
Especially when you're interviewing somebody like me who has no idea what's going on all the time. We can't remember anything. So.
Same boat.
Mark knows I'm like that too, so yeah.
Like if you've been reading my interviews, you probably know stuff about me I don't know.
Right. With Athena doing Metal Mischief and what she was talking about, which is hilarious, by the way, because she's like, I don't have anything. She gets like ridiculously in depth, like writes everything out, and is just like not necessarily it's scripted to bullet points, but is totally fucking just like open and just like, hey, motherfucker, and it's so fun to watch. But it's, and I just like anytime I never think of what I'm gonna ask people except for when I get to the cards. So I'm just like, well, tell me about this, So it's like I wing every interview, and it's like sometimes I wish I could do it, but fuck, man, she's got it down fucking pat for sure.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Yeah, being prepared.
I guess I'm out of questions because I stalked your band. So
right. She knows all there is to know about Space Coat.
I know.
All the
And I
dealers.
Yeah.
So I do have one more question. But
Okay.
before we get into it, as always, links are listed in the description below, so please give a like, a share, and a follow. Go to the Bandcamp pages, go buy merch, go see these guys when they're playing, especially here on the 23rd of... the 24th, my bad, of February.
February, yeah.
Hell yeah, because it's going to be a kick-ass show with so many awesome fucking bands. Do you, Reno, have any shout-outs you want to give to anybody today?
I mean, as always, my own bass player, Jay Matheson, in the jam room, because there wouldn't be any Space Coke without him and all he's put into it. And a lot of bands can say that. And, I mean, you guys, because this is cool, it was a fun interview, and I'm really honored to be on a list like that. When I first put out Lunacy, I thought a lot of people were just going to say, this is weird, and pass it over, which a lot of people did, but then it kind of caught on, and yeah, it's cool to get recognition, especially this far after I released it. So.
Hell yeah.
Like it's worth looking at. We got written up in Classic Rock magazine. I think that's British, and they gave us some like Eric Clapton liking dipshit to review Space Coke Lunacy, which is, I almost was honored for the review, knowing that he hated it so much.
Hey, no, even bad publicity is publicity. So
yeah, no, exactly, and I was told, like, hey, you sure you want to tell people about this? Like, fuck yeah, like, Slash is on the cover. Like, it's this big-ass actual print review, you don't get a lot of that.
Yeah,
but it's terrible. But if it was me reading it, I'd check it out, And then you got to think, they actually printed it. Like, why would you do that if it was trash?
Right.
So,
hell yeah.
But I love that. He says, like, this is just some guy jamming with his wah pedal. It's like, I don't even have a wah pedal. So
it was the whale noises.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like I said, I'm not sure what he's talking about, but it's not a wah.
Oh, shit.
Jesus, that's awesome.
So my final question of the day is, what is one thing you wish you'd spent more time doing when you were younger?
I mean, stealing money. Because I didn't know how expensive it was going to be once you get, like, past 20. I don't know. I mean, honestly, seriously, like, I've always had a trouble really focusing on things and getting them done, and I didn't know until about a month ago that I have, like, pretty bad ADHD, which I never even understood that. And it's been really difficult to be a creative person that actually, I've always been really good at, like, improv and doing things off the cuff, but putting together a record and organizing people and organizing shows is absolutely nuts for me. So I wish that my brain had been able to, even things like practice more and stuff. I played all the time, but it's still difficult. And I like playing music more than about anything else in the world. So.
Hell yeah.
I totally get what you're saying there, and that, yes.
Yeah.
It that's one of the things, and, Athena knows this, is like mental health is definitely something to take seriously, whether it's like
I mean,
anything.
Well, I just thought of it as, kids with a lack of attention, and you give them this drug. I didn't understand any of it. Now I'm going like, oh, fuck. Like, if any, I had the kind of family that said, like, snap out of it,
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't even begun to figure myself out, but it is definitely where you're saying, like, something to take very seriously and try to understand, as opposed to just using your gut knowledge of it.
Definitely. Yes, 100%, dude. Reno, thank you so much for coming on the Metal Forge this week.
Thank you.
This has been fucking an amazing interview. Athena, thank you for being here as well.
Hey, man, it's been my pleasure, for sure.
Absolutely. And what are we going to play out today from Space Coke?
Well,
Are you asking me?
Yes, sir.
Frozen World.
Oh,
Nice.
She
All
already
right.
said it. You know, she's on it. So from Space Coke, the Lunacy album EP ish something whatever.
I call anything over 4 songs an album. So
there you go. So
It's
it is an album. This is Frozen World.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Set back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code METALFORGE10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now. Hey Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby. Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soulgrinder Zine, an independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.